everyone. Myself Parmala, working as an assistant professor in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering. Today we are going to discuss about the programming languages. Before discussing about the programming language, first we should review on what is a computer, what is an input device, what is an output device. In our previous session, we discussed about the computer, input and output devices. What is a computer? Nothing but an electronic device. What is the need of a computer? Which is mostly used to reduce the manual work, which is used to save the resources. How the computer will work? What are the parts of the computer? The parts of the computers are nothing but monitor, keyboard, mouse, monitor, keyboard, mouse, printer, scanner, CPU. So these are some parts of a computer. When we connect all these together, it becomes a computer. What is the need of the input device and what is the need of an output device? Input device is nothing but the device which is used to give some input to a computer. Output device which is used to get the data means system is having a main part called as a CPU. Abbreviation of this is Central Processing Unit, which is used to perform the operations which we are giving to our system. The instructions what we are giving to our system will be processed by the part called, the device called CPU. So CPU is simply called as an operating system, which is called as the heart of the computer. If we don't have the CPU, we cannot access the computer. So in our previous session, we discussed about all these devices. Those are nothing but input and output device. What we give to our system, using which device we are giving some data to our system, such devices are called input device. That input devices are keyboard, mouse. These are the examples to input device. Output device, output, nothing but the result, which is showing some result to us, which is showing some output to us. Such devices are called output device. In those output devices, monitor is nothing but one of the output device. Using that monitor, we can see the result. If we give some instructions to a computer, it processes it and the result will be displayed to the user. How we can see that output? How we can see the result? Using monitor only. So monitor comes under the output device. Printer. Printer is also one of the output device. What we give a print, what we want to print, which page you have given a print, that will be come out from the printer. The page will be printed from the printer. So printer is also a device called output device. So this brief introduction we have seen in our previous session. Now coming to our programming language. About the programming language we will discuss in this today's session. Coming to here the programming language, these are the topics we are going to discuss. Nothing but what is a programming language? Why and where we use the programming? What is the importance of a programming language? And their applications. So these are the topics we are going to discuss in this present session. Now come one by one. Let us start with a programming language. Why and when we need a programming? Why and when we need that programming? Now see. First suppose I have given some simple question I have given to you. Nothing but when I ask you that what is the sum of 1 and 1? Two numbers I have given here, 1 and 1, and I ask you to tell the sum of those. Immediately you can tell it as 2. Immediately you can tell it. If I ask one more question, what is the sum of 7 and 30? How much it is? 7 plus 30, how much? For this also you can answer immediately as 100. If I ask one more question, 250011 plus 1, 2, 3, 5, 4, 6, 7. What is the sum of these two? Can you tell it immediately? Can you answer immediately as like these two? If we see these two questions, when I ask the question, I got a response, I will get the response immediately from you. But when I ask the question like this, which is having some big number, which is with more number of digits, so then what we'll do? Usually we prefer a calculator. If a number with less number of digits, it may be a 2 digit or a 1 digit or a 3 digit, we can do it easily. Without the help of any other device, we can tell immediately. But coming to such numbers, 250011 plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 like that, if such number is there, such a big number we have, then usually we prefer a calculator. Not only for the sum, for multiplication, for subtraction, for division. In such cases, we prefer the electronic calculator to complete our task. First, suppose, if the next number is, observe this number which is having more number of digits compared to the previous examples. Here we have only one digit, it is a 2-digit number, it is a 5-digit or 6-digit, and here the number of digits in each number is more than that. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and so on. Then, what is the answer to that? Which process or which operation we are performing here? Multiplication operation. Multiplication operation. Then, how to do this? First, suppose, assume this is an addition. Okay, good. We can take a calculator and we can perform the sum of these two. It is a multiplication. Multiplication means, if we get same number of digits, may not. Here see, such a big number it is. If we are multiplying such numbers, then we get more number of digits. So, performing a manual calculation on this is too difficult. Is this application supports the calculator? Can we implement it by using an electronic calculator? Can we? No. Why? Because there is a memory limit. It can support only some digits. But here, the first number is having approximately 10 digits and the second one is also having the same. So, multiplying two such big numbers, which gives a very, very big number. So, it needs much memory to store such a big numbers. That electronic calculator doesn't have such memory. Then what we have to do? In such cases, what we have to do? It is difficult to do manually. Okay, good. So, the alternate we have for that is a calculator. It is also difficult because it is having a memory limit. So, what else we have? Calculator is not sufficient. Manually, it is very, very difficult to us to complete the task. Then the alternate one we have, that is a computer. Using computer, we can complete this task. How the computer will perform it? How the computer will calculate it? How it works? Computer is also having a calculator. Can we do this task using a computer calculator? No. Then how can we implement or how can we perform or how can we do this task using a computer? That we can do with the help of a program. There is a need of a program. So, whatever the task we want to do, that we'll write as a program. That program will give to a computer. The computer will process it and that will be given to the user as the result. So, if it's simply a computer in the sense, okay, with the help of computer only we'll do. But computer is not sufficient. Computer is nothing but a machine. It is not a human being. It doesn't have any brain to work. Then how it works? That should be given as an instruction to it. If we pass an instruction to a computer, then it complete the given task. The giving the instructions is nothing but a program. Okay. So, with the help of program, we will write a program to complete this task, to perform these two numbers multiplication, and that will pass to a computer, and here the computer will execute, will operate it, and it show the result to us. That result we call as output. Clear? So, manually the instructions or the task what we have which is difficult to perform. Okay, good. This also we can do manually, but how much time need to be taken by a single person to complete the task? Assume how much time will you take? Takes much time. The resources are not sufficient. So, in such cases, we will move to a programming, a computer. The need of this computer programming is nothing but which save the resources. How it save the resources? What type of resources are saving here? Assume here, if you want to perform this one manually, so you need to take a big paper. A small paper is not sufficient because the number is a big number. So, how much lengthy paper you need to take? One page is not sufficient. Then, how many rows will get? And addition of all those. So, assume how much time it takes to complete it. Right? But coming to this programming, no need to spend that much amount of time on that specific task to complete. Once you write a program using that, not only this multiplication process on these two numbers, once you develop the program using that, you can perform any task. So, with the help of computer, we can save the time. Time is so valuable. So, we can save that a big resource. So, first we write that as a program, and that program will be given to a computer. The computer will work on it and it generate the output to us. The output is nothing but the result of it. Right? Then, first suppose, while you are in a call with one of the other, you are in a call, they are telling that, or assume the other case, you have there 3 users are there, A, B and C. A is having a B's contact number, but A need C address and the phone number to talk. A is having B number, phone number, and he want the address of C or phone number of C. A want to talk with C. Then how A get the C address and what he'll do there? Simply A will make a call to B. During their conversation, A asks, please tell the address of C. Likewise, A can get the data. Whose data? C data from B. So here B will share the C information, either the contact number or the address or mail ID or something. Some contact details will be told to A. When and how he is telling? During the conversation. When A and B both are communicating each other, during their conversation, B will tell the details of C. Then how A will take or how A will maintain that information which was told by B. So here, okay, good, B is telling the C contact number, phone number and the address. Then how the A maintains? So here A take a paper and a pen, simply he copy that contact number C, phone number and the address on this paper. Because it is a simple work and it is nothing but a single line, phone number is nothing but a single line, so one page is sufficient. What paper is available with us, simply we will take that paper and a pen, we will write everything on that address and the phone number. Because that we are using for the temporary purpose, that may not be useful for next time, right. In such cases, here simply we will take whatever the paper or the pen available with us, using that we will maintain the data, right. So it is used for the temporary purpose. First, suppose this is a single single user information, the phone number and the address, that too, that we are using only for that purpose, only at that time. First, suppose if you want to maintain the details of your classmates, usually on the farewell day or in the last day of your degree, what we'll do usually? We'll collect all our friend phone numbers, their interest, address, mail IDs, everything we'll collect. How you will maintain? Is this paper and pen is sufficient to maintain all those details? No. Then what we'll do? Usually we'll go to a slam book. So there we'll take a slam book. So on each page, one page is reserved to one specific person. On that page we'll write their name, phone number, mail ID, etc., etc. on that. So one book we are maintaining there. For what purpose? That book we need, and that we need to refer in our future. In such cases, we'll take a book and there we'll maintain that information what we have, what we want to maintain for long time. Then this book, how much time it will be like that? How much time it will be? When you keep that book for a long time, automatically the quality of that paper will be degraded. It will be teared. So that is not sufficient. Sufficient in the sense it is not that much secure to maintain the details of our friends and so on. Then, so coming to the first case for temporary purpose, which is use and throw purpose. So for the present purpose, for the current situation, we'll use simply a paper and pen, because there is no need of storing that content. So simply we'll take it and we write the content on that, and after completion we can throw it. In such situations, we will use simply a paper and a pen. First, suppose if you want to maintain the data for a long time, and not only a single data we have group of information to store. In such cases, how many papers you can keep as a bunch? It is difficult. So suppose your friends are approximately 35 to 40. Can you maintain 40 papers individually? No, it is difficult for us to maintain 40 papers as a bunch together. In such cases, we will move to a book. We will take a book here and everything we will write on that. On each page in that book, we will copy everything and we maintain a book. Instead of maintaining a 40 pages, maintaining the book is easy, right? So, likewise we will maintain. But this is also not that much secured. Why? Because it is a paper. When you keep it for a long time, it will be teared. The quality of that will be diluted. Then what we have to do? Paper and pen is not sufficient. Book, okay, better than that, but this is also not that much good. Then what we have to do? We will move to some other alternate. What is that alternate? CDs, floppy disk, pen drives, hard disk and so on. So this is the floppy disk. This is a floppy. This is a CD or DVD. And this is the hard disk. And these are the pen drives. Right. So these components will prefer to maintain the information. So you can make a copy of those into a floppy, into a DVD or into a hard disk or pen drive. So based on the content how much you have, we choose one of the specific device or the driver to copy our content. Once you copy the content in one of these devices, it will not be treated like a book or a paper. So for maintaining a data for such a long time without making any corruptions or any disturbances, we prefer such devices. Storage devices. Simply we call these as a storage device which is used to store the content. Right? So these are the computer storage devices. To maintain the information. Okay, good. If we see a pen drive, size of the pen drive may be 2 GB, 4 GB, 32 GB likewise. If you have more than that information with you, for suppose if you discuss the previous example what we discussed previously, nothing but maintaining the details of our friend. Okay, you have a 40 number of students as friends and simply you are maintaining all their information. So how much size, how much data it occupies there? The size of the data not even a single GB. Take the other example. For suppose, take a banking sector. Take a simple or one college or okay, discuss about the banking sector. How many customers are there for a single branch? Not a bank, branch. Thousands of customers. What they'll maintain? What they maintain? They maintain the account, the details of each customer. Account details in the sense, what is the name of the customer? Their account number, date of opening, amount in that account, their address, phone number, transaction details, and so on. So, if we take a single account, a single customer, not only this information, some additional information is also there like ATM details, checkbook detail, transaction details, everything. So, each one should be maintained for each and every customer and each and every account. Likewise, each branch itself having thousands of customers. Not only a one customer or a 2 or 10 or 100, thousands of customers. Then, is the paper and pen sufficient? No. Book? No. Coming to these devices, can we store all such information in a pen drive? Is that size supports? Or can we copy in a DVD? Or in a hard disk? No. So, the size of this is more than that. The size of that is more than that. So, what we'll do? We prefer the next storage device which is having a much space compared to all these. That is a server. This is nothing but a server. So, using this server, this is used for maintaining the large amount of data for a long period of time. If you copy the data on this hardly 1 day or 2 day or 1 month, you can keep that information or that paper neatly. But coming to this work, 1 year or 5 years or 10 years, not more than that. Coming to this, it is also limited space we have. So if you have much information, we can't store that much information in that devices. So we should go to the alternate, that is nothing but a server. Taken another example, that is maintaining the college information. First, suppose if you take a simple example of our college itself. How many students we have? Approximately 5,000 students. So the college, every year it should maintain the information of each and every student. Each and every student in the sense, what is the name of the student, their roll number, their branch, their marks in each subject semester wise. We have 2 semesters in each year. So how many marks they scored? For how many marks? How much percentage they got? What is their attendance percentage? What are their additional certificates? How many courses they attended? Their extracurricular activities. Likewise, each and every information should be maintained by the college. So likewise, every year we have a 5,000 students. So 5,000 in the sense, not only for this year we have to maintain, we should maintain the information of the previous years also. Because after 2 years, you may come and you ask your OD and all. So if we don't have that information, how can we provide that data to you? How can we issue the OD to you? So we should maintain the information of the passed out students also. Assume how much storage or how much space is required there to store that much information. All these are not sufficient. In such cases also, we will prefer a server to store the information or to maintain the information. So this is about, everything is called as database maintenance. Database. What is a database? Database, nothing but whatever the data need to be maintained for a long time, or what information we need to perform the task to keep that information safely is nothing but a database. There usually we prefer servers to maintain a large amount of data for a long time. So likewise, we will keep the data in that. Whenever it is required, simply we can extract from that. So server is nothing but one of the storage device which can able to store much information and which can be maintained for a long period of time. Then see, what is a programming? Okay, good. Till now we discussed about programming example and the use of the databases and all. Then coming to a programming. What is a programming? Program is nothing but the set of instructions given to a computer. As we discussed earlier, if a task you have which is not possible to perform by a human being and which it is difficult to or which take much time to perform manually, in such cases we will move to a computer. So can the computer perform directly? Like a human being, I tell one of my friend to tell that to complete a task. So first suppose I told you to complete, okay, perform the sum of sum 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plus and so on. If I tell like this to one of you, you can understand it and you can complete the task what is assigned to you. Can I tell like this to a computer? How I instructed you, can I give or can I pass the same instruction to a computer? I will go to a computer and I tell to that as, okay, computer do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and so on. If I tell simply like that to a computer, can the computer understand that? Is it perform the task? No, because it is a machine. Whatever we want to perform, that should be given as an instruction. The group of such instructions is nothing but a programming. So, programming is nothing but instructions, set of instructions what we are giving to a computer to perform a specific task. If you pass as an instruction, then only it can work. Whatever you will tell in an oral way, it can't understand it, right? Then coming to a programming language. Programming language. So what is a language here? Usually language in the sense we will discuss that, okay, Telugu, Hindi, English, Kannada, all this we call as a language. But coming to here a programming language. What is the language here? What we use here? So here the language means, there we have a different types of languages. Which type of instruction we are performing should be explained in such a way. First, suppose, if you are from Tamil Nadu, I should explain in Tamil. If you belongs to Karnataka, I should tell in Kannada. If you belongs to Andhra, so I can prefer a Telugu to convey. So you belongs to which type of country, so or which type of state, we should prefer such language to convey the information to you. Similarly, here also the programming language. So which type of instruction we are giving to a computer. That instruction should be specified in a specific way. That way is called as a programming language. So programming language provides the way. The way it provides for a programmer to express the task. To express the task. So what is the task with him to complete? With the support of a computer. So way of expressing that task itself is called as a programming language. Program is nothing but a set of instructions. Set of instructions is nothing but a program. How that instructions we are conveying to a computer? Nothing but programming language. Then the set of some of the popular programming languages are C, C++, Java, Python, and so many types of programming languages we have. Some of the examples are, and well-known examples are Python, C, CPP and Java. These are some examples to the programming languages. Now see. Applications of a programming. What are the applications? Applications are nothing but how and where these programmings are useful in our daily life. How these are useful in our daily life. That we take as an application. First, say about the Aadhaar number. This is one of the simple example and which will be known to everyone. Nowadays, everything is linked to an Aadhaar. Right? If you want to purchase a mobile SIM of one of the network, it may be an Airtel, BSNL, Idea or something. What we should give to them? We should provide an Aadhaar number as the proof to them. If you want to open a bank account, what we have to do? We should give an Aadhaar number. So we should give a Xerox of it, or we can tell the Aadhaar number to them. Or if you want to purchase one of, or if you want to take a loan, or if you want to purchase any of that. So it is mandatory to give the Aadhaar number. Okay, good. Aadhaar number is a 12-bit number, 12-digit number it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 2, 6. Assume this is the Aadhaar number. First, suppose while we are storing, so how many number of people we have in our India? Some crores, right? So each one is having a unique ID, unique Aadhaar number. So what data they'll match to this? If you simply search with this Aadhaar number, you can get everything. Means we can get the name of the candidate, their age, their date of birth, their phone number, address and their bank details. In which bank they have the account, everything will be displayed to us. If any vehicle registration on the with that is also displayed to us. So, one of this number is linked to, one of this Aadhaar number is linked to many of the applications. Using that we can retrieve many. Then, how we can maintain such a big information? Name of the candidate, their phone number, age, date of birth, address, bank details, registrations, etc. and all. So, to maintain such a big information, such a lengthy information, we should move to a database. Okay, good. Database we have. Database we have. Then, I want to search a specific candidate. I want to search a specific candidate. So, one of the candidate applied for some scholarship and all. I need to verify, is that candidate eligible or not? Any registration on with their name or any bank details or any land information or whatever else. So, I need to inquire about one specific person. How can I inquire? How many details like this we have in that database, in Aadhaar database? Assume this as the Aadhaar database. In that Aadhaar database, do you have only 10 candidates information? Or 20? Or 100? No. Lakhs and crores of data we have in that. Each candidate is having one specific record. So, in that crores of data, how can we identify a single person? So, there we'll move to a search and simply we type the Aadhaar number there and we can get the information whatever we required. So, see there, searching. What operation we are performing there? Search operation. What we are searching? Search operation we are performing. What we are searching? The details of a specific person. On what basis? Aadhaar basis. So, in that crores of data, assume this is the line reserved to store the first candidate data, second candidate, third, fourth, 5 and so on. In all these, you need this specific candidate data. So, is it possible to do manually? If you have 100 lines, okay, good. Or if you have 10 lines, easily we can search. If you have 100 lines, okay, good, little bit difficult, but we can do. If we have 1000 lines, but here the Aadhaar database is having crores of lines. Crores of lines. Then how can you identify this specific person? In such cases, we'll go to your search option. What is search there? So, if you simply give that number, it will be automatically retrieved. So, searching in the sense they will write it as a program. On the back side of it, for search, there a program will be generated and when you press the search, the program will get executed by the processor and it find one specific user which you want. Nothing but a program is required there. Similarly, coming to your banking, take the other example, banking. So, usually what operations will do with the bank? Debit or credit or something. So, how much balance you have in your account? How much you debited? How much credited? So, for each transaction, everything should be clearly specified. How much you credited? How much you debited? And what is the present balance? Everything should be maintained clearly. So, here it is performing. So, credited means it should add that amount to your balance. If it is debited, it should subtract the amount from that. So, likewise, some additions, subtractions and everything should be performed on your account. It is nothing but an operation. So, all these, to do all these, we'll write a program. Everything will give as a instruction. If you pass that as an instruction, then only the computer can work properly. So, in a banking, not only for storing the data, in a database we consider the banking as an example for the database to maintain information of the student or to maintain information of the customers. But the same banking here we are taking to perform the operation. If it is credited, that credited amount should be added to your existing amount. If the debit operation, debit transaction, it should be deleted, should be reduced. So, likewise we need to perform. And nowadays, coming to the next example, online reservation. Assume the previous days, olden days. If you want any reservation, it may be a bus reservation or a train reservation or something. We should move to that respective center and we need to get the reservation. But now everything is digital, means wherever you have, from there itself you can book the ticket, which one you want. Not only the bus, not only the train, you can move a bus ticket or you can reserve the movie ticket, you can reserve a flight ticket, whatever you want, from there itself you can complete it. That is with the help of a computer and the programming. So, which ticket you are reserving? On which date it is? From where? How much amount? That amount should be debited from a bank. When it is debited, so we should reduce the amount from that account. So, likewise, so to complete all these transactions, we need a program. All these we write as a program. So, we have to give an instruction. With the support of these instructions only, the computer can work. So, programming is nothing but a set of instructions. Set of instructions which will be given to a computer to complete a specific task. Now, everything is a digital. So, this world is called as a digital world. Instead of going to a specific location, we can complete our task by sitting from here itself. You can see, you can remember, if you want to make a call to one of your friends who is locating at some other country. In our previous olden days, simply we can make a call and we will talk with them. But now, we have online video conferences, online chats, everything we have. Even though they are at somewhere, by seeing from here itself, we can see them, we can talk with them, which appears as the real world. So, when we talk with them through a video conference, we can feel that they are very near to us, right? So, the technology was developed like this from olden days to these days. So, all these we can do with the help of a program only. So, programming language is nothing but a set of instructions which will be specified in a specific way. So, this subject, this course will introduce the basic programming language, nothing but C program. Our next sessions will give the descriptions about what is the C programming and the extension to that, what is the structure of it and all. Thank you.